we will start off with the presentation now. So a very good afternoon, everyone. My name is Siddharth Bhatia, and I work as a customer success manager with Interact. So today's topic is going to be regarding the new feature that we have introduced, which is workflows, right? And so this is the new feature that we have recently introduced. And we wanted to just conduct this webinar to explain it to you how that feature usually works, right? So this session is going to be for 30 minutes, and the next 15 minutes is basically dedicated to the question and answers, right? It's a total of 45 minutes. So this webinar is going to be of 45 minutes. And also just before the question and answers round, so Rupak, who is actually my co-host, will launch a feedback poll. And I would urge and request all of you to give us a feedback, sorry, so that we could, conduct the future webinars and we can improve upon them, right? So as I said, so today's topic is going to be regarding workflows. So let's quickly hop on to the first slide. So what exactly is a workflow? So basically, if you are if you want to ask a sequence of questions to the end customers before the agent takes it up, or you call them, you use a workflow, right? So basically, let's suppose if you are a solution-based company, right, and if a customers are dropping you a text, right, so they want to reach out to you on WhatsApp, and prior to answering customers' questions, you want to just ask certain questions. You want to just gather certain, traits. You want to just gather certain information from the customers. So in that case, you use a workflow, right? So you ask a series of questions initially to gather the customer responses, and then accordingly, you assign an agent, or then you take it up. So basically, your representative will take it up to just follow up with the lead and convert the lead into the final customer. Right. So for this initial sequence of questions, so for this initial, what do we call it? Basically to gather the information from the customers, that initial part is what the workflow basically comes into action, right? So you can use the workflow for lead generation, as it is mentioned in here. You can do it for appointment booking. You can do it for feedback, and you can also use workflows for surveys as well. Right, so these workflows are basically are designed to solve your key business problems, and also they're designed to reduce your time to market on WhatsApp. Right. Coming on to the next slide. So basically, with the help of workflows, you can give 24/7 hour support to your customers, right? And basically, you can save time. You can capture leads automatically. You can help your customers book appointments. You can get feedback. You can take surveys. So there are multiple things which you can do, with the workflows. But having said that, so the workflow design has to be quite logical. So you will have to spend some time in order to, set up the questions and how you are going to, proceed about it, right? So basically, and there's one more thing. So all of you must be knowing about custom auto replies that we have in the automation section. So there's a slight difference between workflows and custom auto replies, right? So with the help of workflows, you can basically save the customer's responses in the user traits, right? So let me just quickly show you. So if you go to Interact, if you could see my screen, so this is the Interact platform, and this is the user section. So these are basically the traits that we have: email IDs, right? And we have phone numbers, we have organization. So these are basically the traits, basically, right? So with the help of workflows, you can save the customer responses in user traits, which is not possible with the custom auto replies. So this is the the main difference between custom auto replies and workflows, right? And also one thing, so there's a bit of a confusion that are workflows similar to chatbots? So no, so chatbots is entirely a different thing, but just workflow. So there's a difference basically. So workflow has an automated responses setup. So you will have to set up the responses. While in chatbots, basically the system will fetch the information from your CRM and then shoot the message to your customers with the relevant information. So that is a completely different thing. So with workflows and custom auto replies, you basically set up the responses, right? and then you trigger the workflow or the custom auto replies with the welcome message or with the campaign. So that totally depends on you and your marketing strategy, right? And how to trigger these workflows. So there are multiple ways, right? So I'll just quickly go back to the interact, right? So in the automation section, first of all, the very basic automation that you have is welcome message, right? So with the help of welcome message, also you get an option to add a workflow. Guys, again, so this feature is only available, it's not available with the starter plans, it is available with the growth plan and the advanced plan, right? So you can enable workflow with the welcome message in here, as you could see. Also, you can create custom auto replies. Let's suppose I'll add a custom auto reply as XYZ, and there's an option which says workflow. So you can basically select the workflow that you have created, right? And if the customer will drop you a text along with the welcome message, they will receive, along with the welcome message, they'll receive a button and the workflow continues, whichever workflow that you have created, and you will map it in here, right? So this is how it, works in general. I'll just slide back to, just give me a second. Right. So coming on to back to the slideshow, right? So there are multiple ways you could trigger the workflows to the customers. So you have, so you can do it via custom auto reply. You can do it via welcome message. So in order to bring customers on WhatsApp to your business number, you can do it via QR codes. You can add a WhatsApp WAMI link, basically WhatsApp link to your websites or to your social media platforms, right? So this is how you trigger a workflow. Now, there's this workflow that we have created for you. So I'll just wait for 2 minutes, and I would urge all of you to scan this QR code from your WhatsApp and just experience how this workflow works. So we have just created a test drive booking workflow for you guys to just have a experience of how this basically works, right? So I'll just wait for 2 minutes, and I would request all of you to take out your mobile phones, open up your WhatsApp and scan this QR code and experience the workflow that we have created for you. And later on, I'll be discussing about this workflow as well. So I'll just wait for another 2 minutes. And also, I would request all of you, if you have any questions, then please do post your questions in the question and answer section at the bottom. So it's there in the bottom of your screen. Please don't post questions in the chat, and also please do ask relevant questions to the topic, and please post your questions in the question and answer section. I repeat again. Yeah. So I'll wait for another 1 minute, and I would request all of you guys to scan this QR code and experience how this workflow works. So basically, you'll be asked certain questions initially, right? So this initial part is something that you can create with the workflow, and you can just capture the responses in the traits in the user section. Just wait for another 30 seconds. Right. So I'll continue with the presentation now. I hope you all have gotten the experience of how this particular workflow works, right? Now let's see how to create a workflow, right? And just prior to that, Just give me a second. Just give me a second, guys. I'm having technical difficulties in here. Sorry, guys, I'm facing certain difficulties in here. I'll share the screen again. Right, so this is your Interact account. Right, so this is your Interact account basically, and this is the automation section on the left. So in the automation section, you get an option which says workflows. So you have to go to the workflow section in here, right? And you'll get certain workflows that we have created for you so that you can just experience how this works, right? So these are the sample templates that we have created for you. So I'll just click on create new workflow, right? And I'll explain it to you. Let's go for the templates that we have created. Actually, the worked on templates that we have had for you. So you can also copy these. You can also use these particular templates, right? So I mean, there's an option which says make a copy to edit. So you can edit these templates as well. So let's suppose we take an example of vehicle service booking, or we take an example of vehicle insurance renewal, let's say, right? So I'll just click on make a copy to edit so that I could explain it to you how the responses are as well on the right hand side, right? So if you could see, there's this first response. So you get an option to select a response from, so we have these, questions created for you. So you can also select a response from here, or you can create your own response. In this case, we have created our own response, right? So if you could see, it says, welcome to ABC Cars, your more trusted car dealer. So to renew the insurance plan, share your vehicle registration number. So what you can do is, so let's suppose if the customer gives an input. So if the customer mentions the registered vehicle, the vehicle registration number, right? So you can save this particular registration number in a trait. So there's an option which says select a trait to which user response should be saved, right? So these are the traits basically. So these traits will appear in the user section on the left, right? So you can basically save the traits as well. I'll just quickly go back. I don't know, there are some technical issues. I cannot access the screen, but anyways, so yeah. So this is the user section basically, and these are the traits as I mentioned earlier as well, right? So we'll go back to the automation workflows, and we'll click on create new workflow, and then we'll go to insurance renewal, make a copy of it. Right, so the first response, let's suppose, yeah, make a copy of the banners. Give me a second. Right. Right. So we're on this particular section. So yes. So the first question, and let's suppose the customer gives an input, you can save the input in the vehicle registration number. So as soon as the customer has given the input, the next question triggers automatically the second response, which says, please share an insurance policy number, right? And again, you can save this particular option. You can save this particular response in the trait. So you can select the trait from here, right? So if you do not have a trait, you can also create a trait basically. So when you're uploading contacts on Interact platform, you can add an additional column, right? So that additional column will pop up in the user section. So that is basically, you can save all the information to that particular column. You can select the option from here. So that option, that column name will automatically list up in here, right? So the next, so once this is done, we, as the customer, right? So then the next question triggers automatically. What is the insurance policy number? Now the next question triggers like, please enter the expiry date of your current insurance policy. right? Again, you can just save it in a different trait altogether, right? And the next, as soon as the customer will give an input, the response gets saved in policy expiry date trait that we have created. Now coming on to the next response, as soon as the customer has given the response, now please share your previous year insurance copy. Kindly upload the document as a PDF. Again, you can save the response, whatever the customer will respond. You can save the response in the trait section, right? You can select the trait from here. And the last response would be, thank you, our team will get back to you again. This thing, right? So that is how you create basically a workflow. This is how we have created. So let's get on to the workflow, which is book a test drive, right? So this is the workflow that the keyword that we have shared in the slideshow, basically, so that you can test it. So this is the workflow, basically, right? So this response one, again, we have created a custom response, and we have asked a question. What is your name in the first? So we have added a description initially, and then we have asked a question. Again, we have saved this particular the response of the question. We have saved it in the name trait. So if the customer says, like, if I'm the customer, I'm dropping a text on Interact, right? And it says, what is your name? So if I type Siddharth, so basically my name will be saved in the name trait section in the users, right? So that is how it works. Now coming on to the second response. So if you could see, there's a variable as well. Thanks, variable one. What is your email address? So ideally here should be my name. So you get an option in here to add the variable value as well, right? So you can give the variable value as name. You can select the name from here. So it will automatically pick up my name from next time, right? And if you want to save the email address, you can save it in the email address trait. Similarly, you can create responses, like select the showroom. Also, you get an option to add a button in here. So you can add up to 3 buttons, not more than that, right? So let's suppose if the customer selects Andheri, right, as a preferred showroom. So we have saved this particular response in preferred showroom trait, basically, right? So you'll get all the data of the customers who have selected Andheri. You can basically use a filter option, and then again, you can retarget those customers, by filtering them out. So that is something which you can do in the user section, right? So you have another response that we have created, choose the model. Let's suppose you select Kushak, right? So again, the response gets saved in the preferred model trait that we have created. I'll just go back and I'll show you again. So where the trait, these traits basically are. And then you can select the time. You can ask the customers to select a time. And again, the time is something which, again, you can save it in a different trait. And then comes the response, the last response, right? So thank you. Our team will get in touch with you. So this is the last response, basically, right? So this is how the flow works, basically, right? Now what I'll do is so if I go back to the user section, so in here, as I told you, let's suppose the responses are saved, right? So basically you can go to the filter section in the users, and you can preferred, let's suppose policy, POLICY, insurance policy number, right? Or policy expiry date. So you can basically use the filter options in order to get those customers, and you can retarget them via campaigns, right? So this is how you could do it. Now let's go back to the automation section workflows, and I help you create a new workflow, right? Let's suppose you're a solution-based company, right? And you provide solutions, and you provide hair solutions, right? So how would you want to proceed about it? So I just quickly change the name as hair solutions, right? This would be the name. Now I would want to create a custom response. So welcome to XYZ Solutions. Please enter your full name, right? So we have created this first question, and we'll save this full name in the trait section, which is name. So if the customer will reply with the name, it will be automatically saved in the name trait. The first response is created. We'll add another response. Please enter your email ID, let's suppose. We'll select it from here itself. Please enter your email address, and we'll save this particular option in email trait, the response in the email trait, right? Add another response. So we'll create a custom response. Please select your age group, let's say. Right? And in here, you can basically add 2 buttons. You get an option to add a button in here. So we'll give the age, let's suppose 15, first would be 15 to 30, and we'll add another button, and this would be 31 to 60, right? So you can select whatever trait you want and you can save the capture the responses basically, right? Select another, yeah, we'll create another this thing. So please select the hair problems you want to solve, let's say, because we are providing hair solutions basically, right? So please select what hair problems you want to solve, right? Again, you can give 3 buttons or 2 buttons, let's say. So the first problem is something that you can mention is hair fall. Second is split ends. Or we can give third option as dandruff, let's suppose. Right? Again, you can save any particular trait and you can save the responses as well. Whatever customer, let's suppose customer clicks on split ends, let's per se, right? So you can save the response in a trait that you can select from here. And you get the information in the user section. We'll save this response as well. We'll create another this thing. Please. Select the scalp type, for example. We will again give certain options to the customers in here. So first is dry, second is oily, and the third is balance per se. Right, so this is another response. Again, I'll repeat, you can save the responses in the traits and you will get all these information in the user section. Sorry, yeah. And the last response that you can add is, so once you have all the information, so then you can basically end this particular workflow with our expert will get in touch with you shortly. Right, so something like that and save. So if you could see the responses, the questions that we have created is, welcome to Expertise Solutions, please enter the full name, the customer will enter the name. And the next question triggers automatically, what is your email address? Again, customer will enter the email address, right? And again, the next question triggers after that, which is where the customer will have to select the age group. And then again, next question where the customer will have to select the problem. So this is an example of hair solutions, right? So yeah, so we have relevant questions. And then please select the scalp type, dry, oily, balance. So the customer could select any of the options and the details will be saved in the user section, right? So from there, you can just pick up the user. You can use the filter options and you can send the campaigns to the user for retargeting purpose or to convert the lead into the final customer, right? And as soon as the customer, you get all the information, the last message triggers, our expert will get in touch with you shortly. So from at this point, your representative will have to get in touch with the customers, right? So, but for initial, this information is something that you can just capture from the workflow. Right, so hair solutions. Now, what we can do is you can just create a custom auto reply in here, or you can just go to the inbox section. You can choose a workflow from here, right? So you get an option. So let's suppose I will select hair solutions. Now, what happens is when the customer will drop you a text, they'll receive a welcome message, and this workflow triggers automatically with a set of questions that you have created. I will go to the workflow section. Again, there's another way of doing it. You can also create a custom auto reply. So I'll create a custom auto reply for, like, let's suppose hair solutions. Right, and I'll select a workflow from here, hair solutions, right, and I'll save it. Now, let me show you how this thing works basically. Right, so this is Interact's demo. So what I'll do is, so the response that we have created is hair solutions. So I'll show you how this works on WhatsApp. Right, so this is the custom auto reply that we have created. So as you could see, hair solutions, right? So so against this keyword, this workflow automatically triggers, welcome to XYZ Solutions. Please enter your full name. I'll enter my full name. Right, again, next question will automatically trigger after this. What is your email address? So I'll just make it test@. gmail.com, right? So, so again, next question will automatically trigger. So now it will ask me about my age group. So I can only just select the buttons. I can just click on any of the options. Let's suppose 15 to 30. So these responses are automatically saved in the trade section on Interact. Now, again, another question triggers, please select the hair problems that you want to resolve. So I'll select, like, for example, hair fall. Again, the next question triggers, select the type, scalp type, let's say oily, right? And the last message triggers that our expert will get in touch with you shortly. So these are the responses which you can just capture from the customer. So, and that is where, workflow comes handy. So you can basically capture the information from the customers. So you'll get the information, all the customers' information from the workflow in this particular section, in the user section, in the traits. Again, I'll repeat, you will have to create the traits if the traits are not created, and you can do it while adding the contacts. So while you add the contacts in bulk, you can add a separate column. You can add one more column in the Google Sheet, right? So you can add one more column in the CSV sheet, basically, while adding the contacts, and the trait name will automatically add up in here, right? And you can get the options while creating the workflow. You'll get the option to select the trait from in this particular section, right? So this is how you create a workflow, basically, right? So what I'll do is I'll quickly go back to the presentation now. Right, so we have seen how to create a workflow. Yeah, so so it's almost time. We have covered each and everything regarding workflows. Now let's go to the question and answers round. So also, guys, there's a bit of a technical issue, as I said. So we are not able to launch the poll as of now, feedback poll. So we'll directly hop into the question and answers. And also, we have in this particular session, I have my colleague Rahul as well. So he's from the product team. So he would also answer the questions so that you can just have a clear idea what exactly this workflow is all about. Right? So we'll quickly jump onto the question and answers now. So Gaurav asks, how do we check if the customer has entered correct data and in the correct format? Right? Is there any validation option? So Gaurav, no, we do not have a validation option. But yes, the information, whatever response the customer will, give it to you against any particular question. So it will be saved in the user trait. So whatever trait you will select. And currently we do not have a validation option yet. But we are working on this. So this is, we have recently introduced this particular feature that we have, but we'll work on this and we'll take it as a feedback. So it says, my green store has asked a question where we can get details of lead. So as I mentioned, so in the user section, basically, you will get all the information, all the responses, right? And the lead is something, obviously, if the customer is dropping you a text, you'll receive the information in the inbox. You'll receive the chat in the inbox section. Plus, once the workflow triggers, all the responses of the customers will be saved in the users section. If you're saving the responses in a particular trait, so you'll get the information in the trait section in the users.
Siddharth, just wanted to add one thing.
Yeah.
So there were also questions regarding how do you create a trait, right? And of course, what you shared is the right thing. You can create a trait while you're uploading your users. However, we also give you an option to create a trait right there on the workflow page. So while you are selecting a trait, you also have an option of add a new variable. So if you want to create a new trait for all the users, just click on that add a new variable, enter the trait name that you want, and that's it. As soon as your workflow starts receiving these responses,
Okay,
the trait will be created.
great, great. Yes, Vinay, you can add the trait in the user section, as Rahul just now mentioned, and also while uploading the users as well, you can add another column, and the trait gets added automatically in the user section. Yes, API can also trigger the workflow, Suleiman. Yes. And if you have any further questions, you can just drop us a mail to support@interact.ai, and we can also have a one-on-one session where we would explain it to you how this workflow works, and we can just work on it and design it according to your requirement. Design as in we can create the questions as per your requirements. And I would request all of you to just ask the relevant questions, because I could see my green store says, what is the per month charges of growth and advancement? So this is something which you can check in the billing section of your platform. Soumya, if you are finding it difficult to set up the workflows, you can just drop us a mail to support@interact.ai, and we'll help you out with it. Does work, so anonymous attendee has asked a question, does workflow has any API limitations if we have 25,000 users on a daily basis? So again, so I mean, so there's those limit, but it depends on the limits that you have on Facebook for sending the notifications, which can vary basically. Yes. Do we have a workflow for customer reviews, Yashpreet Kaur? Yes, you can, as I said, so with the workflows, you can also gather the feedbacks. You can get the, customer, you can get it, you can capture the feedbacks from the customers as well. So this is something, if you'll go to the section, the automation section and workflow section, so we have a, template created for, getting the feedback from the customers. So you can check that particular template and you can also edit it. So Deepak Sharma asked, in your example of test drive, how do we share the link to the direction to the car showroom? Link direction to the car showroom. So Deepak, as I said, so basically this workflow would help you capture, will help you gather the responses initially, and later on at a certain point, your representative will have to get in touch with the customer through call or maybe through the same, WhatsApp platform. So again, yeah, so you'll have to work on it. I mean, at a certain point, your representative will have to speak with the customer. So it's the workflow can basically capture the initial information, and you can save it in a repository in user section basically.
Also, Siddharth, lots of customers have questions that how to save traits and how to create the new traits on the go. So, can you maybe show that once again by creating a new workflow and creating the trait on the go? So let's maybe show them that.
Yes, just give me a second. I'll just quickly do that. I'm having technical issues with the system. I'll just try and okay. So as you can see my screen. So while creating a response, let's suppose select a response, get what is your name, right? So you get these options. You can, so there was one question, how you can add a list. So in here, you also get a list options. You can add a list in here as well. The view list, which you will create in the automation section. So apart from this, I'll quickly jump out of the trait section. So it says add another variable. So it says write a new trait here, right? So you can create a new trait in this particular section. I'll just walk you through this particular section again. So let's suppose if we add a separate question like, please select your age group. Let's say, please select your age group, and you give two options to the customers by adding a button, let's suppose 15 to 30, and then you add another button as you give them the option 31 till 60, right? So these are the two age groups which you've added in the button. So so let's suppose you don't have a trait created. So what you can do is, it says select a trait, right? So it says add another variable. So in this option, you can create a trait, right? So let's suppose we'll create the trait as age group, right? And that is how, if you could see age group, so this trait has automatically been created, right? So once you go back to the user section, if let's suppose I'm a customer, I clicked on 15 to 30. So against my, a phone number, so there's another column which pops up in the user section and in the form of trait, which is age group. So this information gets automatically captured in that section, right? So this is how you can also create a trait. This is a second way of doing it. And the first way is something which I've already told you, where you can go into user section, you can upload, the users in bulk, and you can add another column. Let's suppose you can add another column as age group. So if you will, once you've uploaded the contacts, the age group trait gets automatically added in the user section, right? So I'll stop sharing my screen again, and I'll go back to the presentation now. In the question and answer section. Right. So any document, so we have question from Silman again, any document for API for workflow. Again, Silman, you can just drop us a mail on support@interact.ai and we will help you out. Yes, Vinay, you can add a trait through CSV, as well as you can do it manually while you're creating the workflows like I've shown you right now. So there's an option at the bottom where you can create a new variable. Hemant says, how do we get an expert who can help in designing these workflows optimally? So Hemant, so we have a dedicated support team, so they can help you out. They will help you out. But again, so you will have to come prepared with a set of questions that you want to ask with the customers, and our team will help you out in setting up the workflows. We can help you setting up the workflows, but the designing part, like as in the questions that you want to ask from the customers, is something that you will have to give us. You will have to provide us with the questions, basically. Right. So Kushbu asks, can we create workflows based on response we will get from the customers by clicking the buttons? See, Kushbu, what you can do is, while creating a template, you can add buttons at the bottom. And in this, not the call to action button, but the quick reply button. So while you're sending campaigns, so basically while you're creating a one-time campaign, right? So you can basically map that button in the custom auto reply section with the workflow that you have created. So if the customer will click on the button, the relevant workflow will trigger again. So this is something which is possible. Again, you'll have to go to the automation section, custom auto reply. You will have to create a new custom auto reply. You'll give the input keyword. And then at the bottom, you get three options, either to add a message in the message body section or to select a product.
Siddharth, let's show them, right, while we are answering the questions. So let's show them live.
Sorry, guys, I'll have to, I'll have to just go back again. And right. So I hope the screen is visible, right? So like the question that you were asking. So in the custom auto reply, as I have created this particular this thing, right, for hair solutions, I'll just delete this custom auto reply. I'll show you again. So it says add new custom auto reply. You'll have to, again, I'll just repeat again. Just as you interact, you'll go to the automation section, then you'll go to custom auto reply. Let's suppose you've already created a workflow. You'll go to the add new custom auto reply section. You'll give the input keyword, which is hair solutions, let's say, right? And this input would be the button name, actually, the quick reply button name, which you will create in the template section, right? So let's suppose hair solutions, you get three options: custom message, product collection list, and workflow, right? So you can select the workflow from the library, hair solutions, done, and save this, right? So now if you are creating a template, let's suppose you're creating a template. I'll just walk you through it quickly. Template marketing, and you select the language is English, right? So let's suppose you've selected all the options. Now coming on to the button section, so in here you will select quick reply, and the name of the button will be exactly same, like hair solutions, just exactly same as you have created the custom auto reply. Right? So now if the customer will receive this particular message to the campaign, and when they click on hair solutions, so the flow, this particular flow will automatically trigger hair solutions, and because you have created a custom auto reply in here, and you have mapped this particular option, this keyword, with workflow in here with hair solutions. So this is absolutely possible. Right? So Ruben asks, can we interact with our CRMs when the customer gives response? It should be captured in CRM as a lead along with response. I guess, Rahul, would you like to take this up, please?
Sure, Siddharth. So, Ruben, currently, what Interact does give you in your advanced plan is the APIs of webhooks, using which you can actually go ahead and, but you will have to build it for yourself. But using those webhooks, etc., you can actually go ahead and do any integration with all CRM. Plus, we do also have a Pabbly app, which you can use to integrate with any of your CRM. For the workflows particularly, or if you're particularly asking about the user traits, no, we do not have a direct integration, but you can, of course, go ahead and, like, if you want to make it very simple, you can easily go ahead and download a CSV and upload it into any CRM, and it should solve your purpose. But I'll repeat, just summarize my response. Use webhooks from advanced plan, or use the Pabbly app, or download it into CSV and then upload.
Right. Christian also asks one question, Rahul. Is there any option to link system to HubSpot so that the variables are directly saved in HubSpot?
No, Christian. Right now we don't. Again, we can definitely evaluate if this would be possible using the Pabbly app. But as of now, you can simply download into CSV and upload into HubSpot, and it should automatically create those variables or traits with your users on HubSpot. But definitely creating a webhook of these responses is in our roadmap. So you shall get it in the future.
Right. So any other questions? So I guess we are almost on time, and thank you so much, guys. So again, if you would have any questions or any doubts, or if you want to have one-on-one session, so you can just drop us a mail to support@interact.ai, and we have a dedicated support team. We have a customer success team who will surely help you out with whatever problems or issues that you have, or if you're facing any difficulty in setting up workflows or any other issue, which is there. So thank you so much. I'll end the presentation now. And again, if you want the recording of this particular presentation, again, I'll urge you all to just drop us a mail at support@interact.ai, and we'll give you the this recording as well. for your reference. All right, thank you so much. Take care.